Procrastination has nothing to do with motivation and everything to do with the fear of not being enough. Welcome in, everybody. For those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Adele Skinner. I am a feminine energy and inner work coach. I have, for the last 2 years, been really working on healing my own feminine energy, on healing my relationship to the things around me so that I am showing up as the best version of myself. And as I have healed myself, as I have gone through these transformations, I have seen such incredible change and I have learned so much, and I want to share that with as many people as I can, because if it wasn't for the healing and the growth and the understanding that I have had the opportunity to get and to learn from other people, I would not be where I am right now. I would be stuck in people pleasing. I would be stuck in fear. I'd be stuck in resentment. I would be stuck in so many places. And that's not the kind of life that any of us want to live. We want to live as the highest, most advanced version of ourselves. We want to live as the most free, happy version of ourselves. And the way that you do that is by doing inner work. We come to this earth, we have opportunities, we have experiences, and through those opportunities and through those experiences, we go through some trauma. We go through some pain and some heartache. And if we do not have the tools that we need to be able to overcome those things that maybe have hurt us, we live forever in the prison of victimhood, in the prison of always looking outside of us, trying to find the thing that, the secret combination of having a happy life, of being happy. When you can't find anything outside of you, it has to come from within you. Like, you have to find within yourself that self-love. You have to be able to have those connections within yourself before you can experience the fullness of joy that you're wanting. So that is what I'm teaching. That is what this channel is dedicated to. If that sounds like something that you want to be involved in, please subscribe, please follow along, because I promise you the transformations that I have gone through have been such a gift and such a blessing. And I am now ready to share that and to help other people on their journey of healing. So today's topic is going to be procrastination. And we think that the reason that we procrastinate doing something is because we're just not motivated. But honestly, it has nothing to do with whether or not we're motivated. It has everything to do with this internal dialogue that we have with ourselves, that we're not enough. We live in so much fear. If we are not aware of our surroundings, if we are not aware of the way that we relate to the world, a lot of times we can be put on autopilot. And unfortunately, autopilot is fear. We allow fear to dictate so much of our life because we're afraid of what other people are going to think. We're afraid that maybe the ideas that we have are not going to be successful. We're afraid that it's not going to work out the way we want to. We're afraid that we're going to be hurt. There's so much fear. We operate in so much fear on autopilot. But when you can have the tools that you need to really come to terms with it and face that fear, you find that you have everything that you need within you to overcome that you don't have to live in fear. So let's look at, again, going back to procrastination. If you are procrastinating something, if there's something that you feel like you should be doing, so say maybe you've decided, all right, I want to work on my health. But for whatever reason, every morning when your alarm clock rings, you find a reason to procrastinate. You find a reason like, I don't feel good this morning, I don't want to get up. Or, you have other things to do. It's not that you aren't motivated, and it's not that it's not a good idea. It's that somewhere unconsciously you are afraid that either you're not going to be successful, you're afraid that you will be successful and you won't know how to live this new healthy life. You're afraid of giving up maybe some of your old habits or your old friends that you are going to be outgrowing as you are stepping into this new life. So instead of beating yourself up over, feeling like, oh my gosh, why can't I just be motivated? What is wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you first. Like, let's just get that out in the open. There's nothing wrong with you. Basically, you are human having a human experience. Congratulations. That is what it means when we come up against fears, is that we are just having a human experience. The best thing about being a human is that we are constantly changing and we're constantly growing. So just because you're stuck right now in fear does not mean that you have to be stuck forever. Like, I promise you, there are so many ways to get out of being stuck. And a lot of it, we think that we just need to power through. We think that we just need to be upset with ourselves enough that we'll get over the fear of starting, or we'll get over not getting up when our alarm clock rings. But that's not true. We cannot hate ourselves better. We cannot bully ourselves better. It might give you some short-term rewards. Like, maybe for a week you'll get up because you're afraid of what you're going to say to yourself, right? Like, you're your own biggest bully. So maybe you will get up when the alarm rings because you're afraid of what you might say, but that is not going to give you lasting change that you want. The reason that you're wanting to have a healthier lifestyle is so that you can feel better, so that you are able to live longer, so that you look better, so they're able to do activities, right? And if you are not able to get to that point inside of yourself where you love yourself better, then just bullying yourself to get out of bed is not going to give you the whole gamut of things that you are wanting by this healthy lifestyle. So the key to changing the way that you're living, the key to changing your mind, the key to changing the way that you're showing up in the world is to change the thoughts that you are thinking about yourself and to change the feelings that you are having about yourself. That's the only way to have lasting change. And the thoughts that you're thinking, if you are wanting to move into this higher, better version of yourselves, the thoughts and the feelings that you have to have towards yourself must be rooted in love. Like I said, you can bully yourself into getting up at the time that you want to for a while. But have you guys ever made a decision to do something? Say, let's use getting healthy, for example, since we're already on that. So you've made a decision to get healthy. And so for a while you do it. You've bullied yourself into it and you've made yourself do it and you're seeing good results. That's great. But eventually you burn out. Like, you get tired of doing the thing that you want to do because you're being mean to yourself to do it. Like, you just burn out. That is where burnout happens, is when your heart and your mind are not giving love to the thing that you're wanting to do. You eventually just get so burnt out, so then you stop. Well, then what happens when you stop? All of the progress that you have seen, like say you lost weight, say you were able to run a certain distance, say you were able to lift a certain amount of weights, all of that digresses and it goes down, or your weight goes back up. The reason that you're not able to stay consistent, or the reason that you're not able to have ultimate and complete change, is because you are not connected to yourself and giving yourself love through every stage of your progress. So when this was probably about a year ago, when I was going through and trying to change, I wasn't necessarily trying to lose weight or do anything like that, but I was trying to change the way that I was showing up for myself in the world. I was trying to change the thoughts that I was thinking about myself. And it was really funny because I would do the exact same thing that somebody would do if they're getting upset with themselves about not getting up with the alarm clock. Like, I was bullying myself into thinking better thoughts. Like it's so funny how we naturally turn to like, it's just the natural man, right? Like we don't need to blame ourselves for it. It's just something that comes naturally, but we naturally go to the negative. So I was trying to change my thought process. I was trying to change the way that I was seeing or thinking about certain things about myself. And I would do really good. And then sometimes I would slip. And then it was like, oh my gosh, Adele, why can't you do this? You're always falling off the wagon. You're always doing this. Or why can't you stick to this? And I realized, well, a couple of things. One, you can't hate yourself better. So yeah, I was sticking to like a tight regime of like personal development stuff. And all of that is good. It was all really, really good. But I recognized that anytime I would make a mistake or anytime I would have a human moment of being a human, immediately I would want to revert back to, oh my gosh, why can't you do this? We know how to do this. We know how to do this better. I can't believe you said that. I can't believe that you had that thought, whatever. The same way that somebody would do if they're trying to get healthier. Like, I can't believe that you ate that. I can't believe that you didn't eat that. I can't believe whatever, whatever, whatever. And so I was pondering and I was thinking about this, and I just thought, you know what? It would be so nice if I had like a step-by-step formula to follow to help keep myself in a good energy with myself. Like I was working really hard on my feminine energy, on making sure that I was staying connected to my feminine energy, that part of me was healthy, that the masculine energy within me was healthy, and that they were supporting me, and that I was showing up as the best version of myself, using those God-given natural energies within me to be a whole and complete person. And so I was thinking, I was like, I would love it if I had just a formula that I could follow, so that anytime I like fell off the wagon, or anytime I came up against maybe a negative emotion or a negative thought or something that I didn't want to think, that I could follow this step-by-step formula, and immediately it would put me back into my healthy feminine, healthy masculine, healthy, most highest version of myself. And so as I was thinking about this, our Heavenly Father is so good to us. I love him so much. And he brought some incredible insights to my mind that I wrote down and that I have been using for the last year to really help me stay connected to the person that I want to be, no matter what is going on around me. Even if I'm coming up against procrastination or fear of not being enough, I can recognize anytime I am not feeling good. That's a really good indicator. If you're not feeling good about something, then it's not good. And that goes with how you're talking about yourself. If you're talking to yourself and you don't feel good after having a conversation with yourself, you are not giving yourself the love and the attention that you need. You're just being a bully to yourself. So anytime that you recognize any of these, like if you just don't feel good, then use this process. So, and I've talked about this a couple of times. This is called my grace model. And I know I call it mine, but really, like I said, this was a direct download from my Heavenly Father. This is what I was needing at the time. And he gave it to me, and I have used it, and I have used it, and I have used it. And every single time I've used it, I have gotten stronger. I have gotten more clarity, and I have been able to make new neural pathways in my brain, so that instead of naturally defaulting to more negative, I can feel myself like leaning that way, and immediately I have this natural urge to be like, oh wait, we don't want to do that, because I have trained my brain. Our brain, being human, is so fantastic. I love being human because nothing is set in stone. And sometimes that can be frustrating because it's like, well, I would love my healing to stick and not have to like do it again. But at the same time, I am so grateful for the opportunity to go back, to repent, to get back to in alignment to where I want to be. So that is why this grace model is so good because it just brings you right back. It helps you create new neural pathways in your brain. Your brain is so capable of so many different things. And a lot of times, like I said, we naturally gravitate toward negative. And the more we allow our brain to just be on autopilot, the more it's going to want to go down those negative pathways. But when we can become aware and we decide, those don't feel good, I don't want to stay there, I want to change them, you 100% can. You just have to create new neural pathways in your brain. It's like creating a new trail through the forest. The first couple of times you go through this trail, you're not going to notice anything different. But after a while, you're going to start noticing that the vegetation on the ground is less because you're walking on that path more. The path is easier to find in the woods, and here pretty quick, it's going to be your natural path. Like, it's going to be the natural way that you move through life because it's what you've chosen over and over and over again. So let's go through the GRACE model really quickly. GRACE is an acronym. Like I said, if you've listened to any of my other episodes, you have heard it, but I'm going to go through it and we're going to talk specifically looking at procrastination, how this GRACE model can help you navigate that, because it is something that every single person on this planet has dealt with, is dealing with, or will deal with. Again, we are human here to have human experiences, and fear is just one of those natural human experiences that we are going to have. But we get to decide whether or not fear is going to dictate our life. We get to decide whether or not we are going to listen to those voices, because we get to decide. So GRACE is an acronym. It stands for each step, or each letter stands for a step in the process. So the first one is grounding yourself. This is really important because we need to be able to be connected to our bodies. That is one of the greatest gifts that we have been given, is our body. So we are a spirit being inhabiting a human body. But our spirit is not our body, and our body is not our spirit. They are in like alignment with each other. They're in, not alignment, they are in relationship with each other. Like they're in a contract with each other. So we need to make sure that our spirit and our body are connected. And that comes from grounding ourselves. The way that you ground yourself is basically, like, have you ever gotten really angry and somebody had told you, oh, count to 10. Anytime you get really angry, just count to 10. That's grounding. That's taking a step back out of the situation, is giving you an opportunity to take some nice deep breaths. Another really good way to ground is to look at or think about or feel where your body is touching the earth. If you're standing, it's going to be your feet. If you're sitting, it's going to be like your legs. You can also take a walk in nature. That's a really good way also to just ground and come back to yourself. Now, as I explain this, I understand that it sounds very convoluted. And I understand, like, the whole step, not just the grounding, but like the whole GRACE model. I understand that it can sound like a lot, but it's really, really not. It's really, I've been able to walk myself through the GRACE model in like 30 seconds or less, depending on the situation and depending on the emotions and the feelings that I'm having. So you can take as much time or as little time as you need, but this is available to you. You can use this, and I promise every single time it'll pull you right back into alignment with yourself, alignment with God, and alignment with who you want to be. So grounding is really, really important because you need to reconnect yourself to your body and to your spirit and get yourself pretty much out of your brain. Our brain is fantastic and we love it, again, but it's one of those, it just naturally reacts. Like, it naturally wants to react to the stimulus around us. But when we ground ourselves, we can pull ourselves out of the situation and we can lead with our heart. We can lead with the feelings and with our intuition. that is the direct connection that we have with our Heavenly Father. And so you want to make sure that your intuition center is open, because I promise you, He is so much better at giving you answers and giving you advice than we are at giving ourselves advice, because we like to and we naturally operate out of fear. And so if we are not making sure that that connection between God and us is open, we will most likely make a decision based on fear, and we don't want to do that because fear doesn't feel good. Anytime that we are operating in fear, it doesn't feel good. We know that. But when we operate out of peace and alignment and intuition with God, it feels good. So that is one of the key components to this whole process, is you have to make sure that you are open and willing to receive the intuition that will come, because you are your God's children. You are our Heavenly Father and Heavenly Mother's children, and they will speak to you. You are a piece of them. They can't help but speak and answer you when you ask. Like they just can't. It's part of their nature. If they were to not do that, then the nature of God would be not what it is, and we know that it is what it is. All right, so the next step is to recognize the emotion that you're feeling. Sometimes this is really easy. Like sometimes you've had something come up and you're mad. And you're like, yeah, I know exactly what I'm feeling. I am pissed off and I know why. And you can give a whole, book on the feeling that you're feeling. So sometimes it's really easy. Other times, like if we're dealing with procrastination, this might be a little bit more tricky, and it's going to require you to feel a little bit harder. And not harder like it's difficult, but just allow yourself to really sink more into your body and what you're feeling. So you're going to recognize maybe that you're procrastinating doing something that you feel like you should be doing. And so you'll ground yourself, you'll breathe, and then you'll think, okay, what am I actually feeling? And it's so fun, you guys. I think this is the funnest part. When you recognize and when you learn to recognize your intuition and the thoughts that are coming and the feelings that you have, you realize how wise you actually are and how in tune you actually are. When our spirit and our body are disconnected, we are thinking with our human brain instead of feeling and understanding with our spiritual mind. And so when those come together, you realize, oh my goodness, I know exactly what I'm feeling. I know exactly what's going on here. And you can go into that. So recognize the emotion that you are feeling. And it's probably going to be something like, well, I don't know how to do it. Or, well, what if I start and then I find a better way to do it? Am I going to be able to change course? Like you're going to have these thoughts, and you're going to recognize and realize, oh my goodness, I have a lot going on here. And instead of beating myself up over it, I should just listen and just hear what I have to say about these things. So really recognizing what it is that you are feeling. This is also a really good step if you want to recognize where in your body you're feeling this. Sometimes you might feel it in your chest. You might feel it in your stomach. Sometimes I've even had it where I feel it in my throat. And so just recognize where the tightness in your body is and breathing into that space and just allowing it to be there and just breathing into it. Like say if it's in your stomach, you're just going to breathe and you're going to send your attention to the tight spot. So like you can't really breathe into your throat, right? Like breath is coming through your throat. But when I talk about breathing into something, that just means as you're breathing, send your awareness to whatever spot in your body is feeling tight or is feeling stress or is feeling anxious. So breathe into that spot. The next step is A for acceptance. This is a really, really special and important step. This is the step that you just recognize, hey, I'm human, having a human moment, feeling a human emotion, and that's okay. Remind yourself that it's okay, whatever it is you're feeling. If you're feeling angry at yourself for procrastinating, that's okay. You're just a human having a human experience. You've had other experiences that have taught you that it's not okay to procrastinate, and there's probably some fear hiding behind that anger, and that's okay. Like, you're just going to love that part of you right now that's feeling it. You don't need to do anything right now. You're just bringing awareness to the thoughts that you are thinking and to the feelings that you are feeling. So just allow yourself to feel whatever emotion is there without judging it. Remember, we have a tendency to be our biggest bully, and we don't need to do that. We don't need to hate ourselves to get better, because it won't work. You will constantly hate yourself, and who wants that? Nobody. If you are looking for actual change, the change is going to come from loving where you're at right now. And where you're at right now is feeling angry that you've procrastinated. So you're just going to love that part that's angry. I always like to use children as an example. I've used this in the past. Think of a child. If they are feeling an emotion, are we going to get angry at them for feeling the emotion? Like, if you are at your highest level, because sometimes we do, right? Like, I know I'm a parent, and there's times when I'm like, suck it up, stop crying. Like, we don't have time for this. So sometimes I am my kids' biggest bully. But when I am operating at my highest level, I have a lot of compassion for that child where they're at. So we can do that for ourselves, because that's our intention right now. When you're sitting through the grace model, you are sitting through the grace model as the highest version of you. So you can give the love and acceptance that the lower version of you needs, because you are operating at that higher version. So you're just going to send the love to them. Now, I've mentioned this before, but I want to mention it again, that our emotions, our feelings are going to change. They are constantly, not cycling, but it's like a wave. They're constantly changing. So when you first go in to recognize the emotion that you're feeling, maybe you're going to feel some anger. And so then you're going to be like, it's okay, I understand. Like, of course we're going to feel angry. Like, we've had experiences in the past, and sometimes we haven't always followed through. So of course we're a little bit angry and disappointed. That's okay. I still love you. It's okay. You're going to talk to yourself in that way. And as you do, you'll recognize and notice that the tightness, wherever in your body it was, that tightness is going to release. And then you're not going to feel angry anymore. Maybe you're going to feel scared. Maybe you're going to be afraid of what's going to happen if you don't follow through. So then you have the opportunity to repeat this R and this A cycle real quick. We're going to recognize what we're feeling. Oh, we feel really afraid of messing up. Okay. Or, really scared of this. Okay. So then we're going to love that. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Of course we would be scared of messing up. Like, nobody likes to mess up, but that's okay. I love you. We're going to send so much love and acceptance to that part of us, because that's what we need right now. And again, like, you're going to feel that part of your body. It's going to relax. And then a new emotion is going to come up, and you're going to have the opportunity to be like, oh, okay, well, what am I feeling now? So you're going to cycle through this as much as you need to, or as much as you want to. There's times when I'm like, I crack myself up. There's times when I'm like, you know what? I don't have time for that. I just need to process anger right now. And I can come back and deal with whatever later. But right now we're just going to move through anger. And that's okay. This is your journey. Like, you get to decide how it looks, and how many steps you take, and how often you repeat the steps. You just go with what feels like you need to go with. So you're going to go through it as many times as you need to. And then the next step is going to be C, which is connect. You're going to connect now with God. So you connected your body and your spirit in the grounding part. And that also brings in God, right? Because we are part of God. We can't do anything without also bringing him with us, because we are him. We are part of him. So when we really connect with our spirit and our body, we're already bringing him in. But here we're going to have an actual conversation with him. We're going to connect with him, and we're going to say, hey, who do you want me to be on the other side of this? Another question that I like to ask is, what is my job and what is your job? Sometimes we like to take responsibility of what we have no business taking responsibility of. And so sometimes it's really nice to have a clear answer on what is my responsibility and what do I need to surrender to you? What is your job in this, right? And I love this. As you're going through this process, what you're doing is you are attuning yourself so closely with God that when you get to this C step, the connect step, you are very, very open and you are very, very aware of the answers that are coming. More sensitive. That's the word I was thinking of. You're very sensitive to the answers that are going to come. So these steps are really important in processing your own emotions, but they're also really important at getting rid of those things that block divine intuition and reception from our heavenly parents. So when you can get rid of all of those emotions that are judgmental, that are hateful, that are unkind towards yourself, when you can get rid of those, you put yourself in so much alignment with God that when he speaks, you will hear him. So I know there's times when like I'll say my prayers and it's like I'll ask for something and then I sit there and I'm like, I'm not getting any answers. But also I've blocked a lot of the answers. When you're doing this, those blocks are gone. And so you are able to receive so much. So when you're asking him, what is my job in this? What do you need me to do? And what do I need to surrender to you? You can get answers on that. Also, like, who do you want me to be on the other side of this? That's kind of like just another part of that question. Like, how do you want me to show up? What are the changes that I need to make so that I can be the person that you want me to be on the other side of this? Sometimes we get afraid or we are nervous to ask some of these questions because we're afraid of what the answer is going to be. We're afraid, well, it goes back to like procrastination, right? Like we're afraid of all of the things that we are afraid of when we procrastinate. Like, well, what if I can't do it? What if it's really hard? What if it requires me to do something that I've never done before or that I don't want to do, right? Like those are like legitimate questions that we have to come to terms with when we go to God and say, who do you want me to be on the other side of this? But one thing that I have learned about the nature of God is that he will never ask us to do something that we can't do, ever. He will never, ever ask us to do something that we can't do. I'm going to use an example of a child again. You know, you wouldn't expect a kindergartner to be able to do 8th grade or 10th grade math. They can't do it. Like they literally do not have the brain capacity and the ability to do that. And so we would never ask that. That would be completely ridiculous. But what are some things that you would ask a kindergartner to do? You would ask them to be able to name their colors. You would ask them to be able to recite the alphabet. You would ask them to be able to count to a certain amount, right? Like those are things that they're very capable of doing. Is it going to require some growth? Absolutely. But they are very capable of reaching that level. It's the exact same thing when we go to God with sincerity and we say, who do you want me to be? Like what is my job? What is something that I can do to be able to become the person that you're wanting me to be? He's never going to ask you to do something that is completely out of your ability to do. He will ask you to do something that might stretch you a little bit, might be a little bit uncomfortable. But honestly, when you surrender to that uncomfortability, if that's a word, and when you surrender to what he's asking you to do with complete trust and faith that, hey, if he's asking me to be this person, then I can be it. Know that the things that you need are going to come to help you become that, right? So like a kindergartner, they're not going to learn the things that they're going to learn if they're not going to school, if they don't have somebody there to teach them. They're not going to learn the things that they need to learn. But fortunately, we have people that are willing to teach. We have school systems that kids are able to go to. And that is the same thing for us. Things are going to come that is going to teach us. And then we're going to look back and be like, oh, that was like not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was so much easier than I thought. And now look at all the knowledge and the growth and the wisdom that I now have. So this step, connecting with God, is so special, and it's so fun, and it's so enlightening. Because whereas before, when you were struggling with procrastination, it was just, I don't know why, or why can't you get it together? There was no clear direction of how to get over procrastinating other than beating yourself up. But now you're going to have a clear answer, very clear, and it's going to be different for everybody. So whatever that's going to look like, it's going to be tailored exactly for you, exactly to what you are capable of doing, and the exact things that you are going to need will come into play when you need them. Like, I love my Heavenly Father so much. He's so good. He is so infinitely good. He wants to bless us. He wants to help us. But we have to get to the mindset that we're willing to accept the things that He is willing to offer us and willing to give us. So the next step is E for embody. So the C step was connection. That was like asking the question. That was getting the download. That was getting the instruction of, this is the person that I want you to be. And these are the things that I want you to do. Now we get to make that decision of, am I going to follow through? Now, one thing that I have found to be very helpful in this follow through step is to make the decision back in the very first step, the G step, when I'm grounding. I make the decision then to say, whatever you tell me to do, I will do it. I've already made that decision. So that way, when the answer comes to me, I need you to do this, or I need you to work on this. When the answer comes, I've already made the decision. I will do it. So that embody part just comes naturally. Now I'm just like, okay, I get up and I'm ready to go and do the thing that I have been instructed or inspired to do. So that is the 5-step process. G for ground, R for recognize, A for accept, C for connect, and E for embody. I hope that this episode has been helpful for you. I know that when I found this, when I was given this instruction, everything changed like so fast. Do I still need to use it? Absolutely. Do I use it every single day? Absolutely. Multiple times a day. There are multiple opportunities for me to have human experiences with human emotions, and I have this divine grace model to be able to help me through those emotions, through those feelings. We are not supposed to live this life without feeling the whole gamut of emotions. We are supposed to experience life. We are supposed to experience happy and sad and joyful and heartbreaking and like all the whole range of emotions. We are supposed to feel them. We do not have to get stuck though in the emotions that we feel. Do I feel emotions that I don't want to feel? Yes, on a daily basis. But that doesn't mean that they get to rule my life, and it doesn't mean that I have to stay in those feelings of anger or fear or resentment. I can move through them. I get to choose how I want to show up. And this model has helped me so much because it has given me the guidelines and, like I said, the step by step. Instead of just feeling everything all at once and being like, I don't know how to get out of this tunnel that I'm in, I can go through the steps and slowly I'm able to work myself out of the feelings or the emotions that maybe I don't want to be in. Like I said, I hope that this helped you. I love you. I'm so grateful that you guys are here. I'm grateful to be able to teach you. I'm grateful to be able to share my wisdom and my knowledge to you. in hopes that it will bless you and help you. If you want to connect to me, I have links below. You can work with me individually. I also have a private Facebook group that you're able to join if you want to connect with me that way. I love you, and I hope that the rest of your day is great, and I hope that you use this model to be able to show up the way that you want to show up in complete alignment with your heavenly parents and as the highest, best version of yourself. I love you, and I will talk to you next week.